wisdom for your life. And here we are. I guess that means that you would like to acquire some wisdom for your life, or perhaps you want to acquire some wisdom to share with your family and friends, to build them up. I do not know what your expectations are, but so that you know, this course will mostly deal with the following questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What do I really want? How to get it? Or we could say, who are you? Why are you here? What do you really want? And how to get it? As you can see, these are questions about our identity and about the meaning of our lives and about the satisfaction of those deep longings of our hearts. And that is what this program is about. And when you have found the answers to those questions, then you can say that, yes, I have acquired some serious wisdom, which certainly will shape your life for better. In a moment, I will give you 3 reasons why I believe this course is really important, and especially why it is particularly important at this day and age, and for everyone. But first, a few remarks. What you will learn in this course, it is not about my wisdom. No, I wish. This wisdom comes from God's revelation, from the story that He Himself tells us and where He Himself invites us to participate. Yes, you too, whoever you are and wherever you come from. We can say that this wisdom comes from that divine person who Himself is called wisdom, and whom we usually know as, yes, as Jesus from Nazareth. And see, I'm still learning every weekend and every day. And to my great joy and sometimes to pleasant surprise, I just keep discovering new and new, deeper and deeper layers of this wisdom. Now you may wonder, what kind of wisdom are we talking about? Some of this wisdom helps me to navigate through this life. Some of it helps me to understand things and people, myself and others. Some of it holds me up and gives me strength when I'm challenged by those real life situations which we would prefer to avoid. And some of this wisdom, it challenges me. And I do not particularly like it, but those probably are the most beneficial times. And you see, much of this wisdom does not come to us naturally. Much of it seems even counterintuitive. But once acquired, once we embrace it, it not only makes sense, more. It is beautiful. It is attractive. It is meaningful. It transforms our lives for good. And most importantly, it does bring us closer to the one who is the wisdom himself. Now, here are the 3 reasons why I think this course, and especially those questions, who am I, why am I here, what do I really want, how to get it, why those questions are relevant today, and I would say they're relevant for all of us. So first, because these are among the most important questions ever for everyone, and I will elaborate on this. Second, because these seems to be the most pressing questions of our times. And third, because Christian community, God's people, we have answers. We have the answer that can transform not only our lives, but that may be of great value for societies that we inhabit. Now, a bit more details. First, because these are the most important questions, because they are so important, and it may not be that obvious. We may not know it, and actually most of us don't know it. I, for one, hadn't thought about it much, but these questions, who am I and why am I here, they stand in the very center of our lives. We all have some working answers to those questions, even if they often are unconscious and not well articulated. See, the way we answer those questions, the way you answer these questions, it shapes almost everything in our lives. It shapes how we make sense of our lives, what make us feel good about ourselves, where we look for meaning, what gives us sense of accomplishment, and so on and on. And we could say that wise answers to these questions will lead to your flourishing. And foolish answers will not. The opposite will be true. And the time comes, for some earlier, for some later, when we all need to face these questions. No exceptions. Do you know how the Bible begins? It begins answering exactly these questions. Just listen to these verses. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. And this is the word of the Lord. And we all together say, thanks be to God. Today many historians, both Christian and secular, they contend that the answers contained in this verse, that they created the Western world, the best of it anyway. And we will spend a great deal in this course unpacking this verse, and because God's answer to this question changes everything. Now the second reason for this course, because these are the most pressing questions, because we happen to live in this age where these may be indeed the most pressing questions of our time. Who am I? Why am I here? Societies around the world, and especially in Western countries, are screaming for answers. Some cultural observers, like Cambridge historian Richard Rex, they believe that the church is facing one of the greatest crises of the last 2 millennia. One of the greatest crises. Hear this. Crisis of identity and meaning. Because we have lost the answers to these questions. Who am I and why am I here? We used to know them, and we have lost them. And now we are lost. Carl Trueman, author of A Strange New World, he describes how we have moved from self-understanding that is rooted in surrounding reality and relationships to self-understanding based on our inner feelings and desires, focusing on ourselves. You can be whoever and whatever you want to be. What a terrible lie! We are not self-creating creatures. We do not have such resources in us. One of the TED Talks superstars, Amy Cuddy, in her best-selling book, Presence, she summarizes the findings of more than 200 studies, and they clearly tell the story that focusing on ourselves leads to no, not to happily ever after. It leads to elevated levels of anxiety and depression. And think about this. Isn't that the silent pandemic that we see all around us? Now, what comes to your mind when you hear it said that we are confused about our identities? Quite likely, what comes to mind is an ever-growing myriad of sexual identities signifying letters. We can say pandemic of sexual confusion. However, that is only one layer of this great crisis. Even if that may be the most visible one. There is a pandemic of anxiety and depression all around us. Unprecedented levels and rising. There's pandemic of disengagement with work. The season of quiet quitting and it's getting worse. There is pandemic of hopelessness and pessimism about future in those affluent Western countries. And there is a great chance that you personally are experiencing the effects of these pandemics, directly or indirectly. What now? What to do? There are many who, like Rod Dreher, the author of 2 best-selling Christian books, The Benedict Option and Live Not by Lies, there are many who, like him, believe that the West has lost the culture war. And what does that mean? That we need to focus on rebuilding foundations. Probably not of entire society, that may be too big, but our own foundations, your foundations, for you, for your family, for your children, for your friends, in your workplace, in your community. And if we want to do it properly, what do we need? Yes, we need wisdom, true wisdom, time-tested, universally applicable, beginning with answering those foundational questions. Who are we and why are we here? Answering them wisely. And now the third reason for this course. Because we know the answers. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. The world, the society cannot answer those questions. Not in a satisfactory manner. It's not that they lack goodwill. I hope not. But they simply do not have resources to do that. They can't go back and discover our origins. The stories they tell are like books without the first chapters. So many of those stories are about who we are. They are sad. They are discouraging. Teaching us to be divided, to hate ourselves, to hate our culture, our countries, to be selfish, to perceive ourselves as victims or oppressors, simply by virtue of being born in a certain time and place. And where is the celebration of the greatness of human life? Where is the joy of discovering the potential built into us, built into you? Because we sense it in our hearts. We want to be glorious. We want to pursue excellence. We want to be worthy of admiration, honorable, attractive. Those longings, they are engraved in our souls. Where are encouragements to strive for those things? They are in a short supply. We, the community of God's people, we have received this incredible gift, undeserved gift, this incredible privilege that true God has revealed His wisdom to us. He has given us the answers to these profound questions, and He has called us to share those answers with the world. And today, one of the most needed aspects of the good news seems to be about our identity, about meaning of our lives, about our self-understanding, about wise self-understanding, reminding ourselves and telling the world who we are created to be and to do. Besides, we have the most beautiful, the richest, and the most satisfying answers that there are. They are entrusted to us. And what a joy it is to prayerfully search for those answers in the Bible, to rediscover them, to meditate upon them, to consider how to share them, and to do our little part in bringing wisdom, beauty, and restoration where it is so much needed, into lives of our loved ones, into lives of our fellow humans. And this is why this topic is so important. And may our good Lord bless us as we reflect on it. And may He help us to build one another up and give us opportunities to share this widely, so that there are more and more wise Christians and more wise communities.